Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into something that is just brilliant. It's a piece of educational design that honestly feels like pure magic. On the surface, it looks like a simple coding tutorial for kids, but if you look closer, it's an absolute masterclass in how to get people engaged. So, how did they turn a potentially dry subject into something so enchanting? Well, let's pull back the curtain and see how the trick is done. It all kicks off with this one line from the source material, and right away, you know this isn't your average "Hello World" tutorial, not even close. This is so much more. It's an invitation, it's a challenge, it's a promise that something mystical is about to happen. It sets the entire tone. We're not just here to learn some code, we're about to go on a quest. And that's really the big question here, isn't it? How do you take something technical, something based on pure logic and syntax, and make it feel spellbinding? Well, it turns out there is a formula behind the magic, and today we're going to lay out all its secrets. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the problem they're trying to solve here. I'm calling it the coding conundrum. It's really the core challenge that pretty much every educator faces when they try to teach a technical subject, especially to a younger audience. I mean, just think about it for a second. Most of the time, when you start to learn code, you begin with these abstract ideas. Variables, loops, functions. It's like being forced to learn all the rules of grammar before you're even allowed to write a single fun sentence. The good stuff, the payoff, just feels miles and miles away. And this is where the difference is just night and day. The typical lesson is all about text, abstract ideas, and waiting for that gratification down the road. But this Mystics method completely flips that on its head. It's visual, it uses storytelling, and it gives you instant, surprising results. It doesn't make you wait for the magic. It hits you with it right from the very beginning. So, how do they pull it off? Well, the first big secret weapon is what we're going to call summoning the oracle. This is all about the incredible power you get when you wrap a lesson inside a really compelling, imaginative theme. Just look at this line. It doesn't say, "Welcome, student." It says, "Welcome, seeker. Let's summon the oracle." I mean, that's such a small change in wording, but the impact, it's huge. Right away, you're not a student sitting in a class. Nope, you're a seeker, an adventurer on a quest. You have a role to play in this world. We're calling this whole idea theatrical framing. And look, it's not just about making things look pretty. It's about using a story, using very specific language and a consistent theme to create a context, and more importantly, to create motivation. It gives you a reason to care before you even have a chance to ask, why am I doing this? And the really clever part is that it's not just one thing. It's everything working together. The enchanting tone of the voiceover, the crystal ball visuals, using words like oracle and fate, even the little sound effects like chimes and echoes. They all stack on top of each other to build this world that feels immersive and totally believable. But, a cool theme will only get you so far. Underneath all that magic, there has to be a really solid foundation. And as we're about to see, the way this lesson is structured, it's just as brilliant as the theme itself. So the script actually follows this perfect 5-step recipe for learning. First, it sets the scene. Then, it immediately grabs your input, making you an active part of the story. Step 3 is where the real magic happens, that element of surprise. That leads to a really clear, satisfying payoff. And finally, and this is key, it doesn't just end. It invites you to keep going, to remix it, to make it your own. It's a beautiful, complete learning journey. Okay, so here's the absolute key to all of this. The real heart of this whole thing, the thing that makes it tick, is what we're calling the engine of surprise. If we're talking code, it's that pick random block. That one little function is what guarantees that every time you use it, you get a different result. It's what makes the oracle feel alive, unpredictable, and, well, magical. And that element of surprise, well, that leads directly to the next genius move here: replayability. This thing was masterfully designed to not be a one-and-done lesson. It becomes less of a lesson and more of a fun toy you just can't put down. And get this, the way they do it is so simple, it's almost funny. Just one button, ask again. That one little button completely changes the game. It transforms the project from a linear lesson, a straight line, into a circle, a loop you can stay in forever. It's a constant invitation to just keep playing. What you end up with is this amazing, self-powering cycle of engagement. You ask a question. You get a surprising answer. You react to it. You laugh. You're surprised. Then you're encouraged to share it. And boom, you're immediately prompted to do it all over again. It is a perfectly designed engine. But wait, it gets even better. The loop doesn't just end with you playing by yourself. The final, and I think most brilliant step, is to push that engagement outward. The script ends with a really powerful call to action. Something like, share your fortune in the comments. It takes something you did alone and turns it into a conversation, a shared experience with a whole community. Okay, so let's recap. We've looked at the theme, the structure, and that awesome engagement loop. Now let's boil all of this down into a simple, actionable formula, something any of us can use to add a little bit of that magic to our own work. And here it is, the fortune teller's formula, all laid out. You start with theatrical framing to create that motivation and context, then you hit them with instant gratification to build confidence right away. At its core is the engine of surprise, which makes it super replayable. All of that is powered by active participation, making the learner the hero of their own story. And you close the loop by building the community connection that keeps the conversation going. So at the end of the day, what's the big takeaway here? It's this. Great teaching isn't about just dumping information on someone. It's about designing an experience for them. The genius of this script is that it prioritizes curiosity, surprise, and participation way above just memorizing facts. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. This formula worked wonders for coding, but just imagine applying it to other subjects. What complex topic in your world, history, chemistry, mathematics, is just begging for a little bit of this magic? Something to chew on. All right, that's it for us today. Thanks so much for joining me.